Welcome back to your daily dose of dopamine. I hope we're welcoming you back. I'm Susan Scarlett. That's Robert Cochran. We've been talking about, goodness, life, Parkinson's, improv, saying yes, and life's challenges. You had anything come to mind
No, I
lately?
like that I have nothing coming to mind because I think it speaks to what we're doing here.
Love that.
um,
It's
there, just in saying that, trust the unknown. How about that?
there it is.
It's one of my favorite phrases we come across, and people struggle with it. I think we talked about it quite a bit at class today. Um, Life is not going to go the way we planned. Put that right out there, right? You know, we know we're going to die for sure, but no one wants to talk about that. And then the things we think are going to happen, they're almost certainly not going to happen necessarily the way we want them to, or exactly when or how. It's like, that's just not how things work.
Let me go back to the first thing you said, though. I think the fact, at least for me, that knowing I am going to die, there's a kind of nice leveling effect to that. It takes it for me, at least, it takes a lot of the fear, and it doesn't. Uh, yeah,
You talk
yeah.
about giving a gift. When you can accept that truth, you know, I can remember when I don't know if it was accepted death, but just kind of, I guess, had kind of a vision of the world beyond this, as it were. There was I don't know, are you familiar with things that some people call astral projections, where you
I
kind of
can
leave your
imagine.
body?
Yeah. Sure.
And there was a time when I was studying a lot of meditation and doing a lot of that, and then was one of the books I was reading that talk was a former NASA astronaut wrote a book on them, and I experienced it, and within one of them experienced myself as a point of light leaving the planet and smashing through what was, fear. In this case, it was a big lion's head coming at me. And once I crashed through it, I felt cold for a minute. And then I was like, and I looked back at Earth, and there it was. And I was like, I'm okay. And from that point forward, I've always had that I'm okay thing. It
That's
doesn't,
awesome. That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
yeah,
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
remove anything from the day to day, life that we have. We still have all the cares and the worries and the fears. But the large scale thing, that death or not, I'm like, I'm not worried about that. I'm really not.
So, you're talking to somebody who's had two cancer diagnoses and a diagnosis of Parkinson's. So I've had a lot of opportunity to test this. And
Yeah.
it's not like I sailed through all those diagnoses as it wasn't any big deal. But there really is something about, um, and maybe it's a big part of the personal belief system that it's not a matter of you're dead, you're gone, or you're dead, that's it, or anything like that. Nor do I think this is me. This is just what I combination of things having to look like right now. And apparently, I need to learn some lessons about having cancer and Parkinson's disease. um, but I love the ease, and the fact that it's not a threat. It is really very freeing. It helps.
Yeah, it's interesting because it fits that idea of not taking things personally, and that comes right down to diagnoses, really difficult diagnoses. Um, we juxtapose that with a very kind of baseline thing, um, briefly saying, these Golden State Warriors using some of their insults as they heard them to motivate them, not letting people know that about that, but internally saying we're going to take that on, and then using that, and versus, because there's a relative amount of control. I think, within that scope, that controlled their effort or their motivation, right, to do a specific task. But within a diagnosis of something like cancer or Parkinson's, there's nothing you could do that, if you took that personally, that would help any of that. I mean, the best thing you can do is accept, and then figure out what's next. Paula
Yeah.
had that moment in class today, right? She talked about that acceptance of, I can't do some things like I used to. And now that I've
Yes.
accepted that, I can
Yes.
see the things I can.
Yes, that yes. I was
Wasn't
so
that
happy for
gorgeous?
him.
Shout
Yes.
out to Paula.
Shout out to Paula. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, just relaxing into that. And there's no question that you get the diagnosis. It's not like it was an easy thing for me. You know, I was numb and deaf and and dumb like most people who get a diagnosis like that for a while. You know, I couldn't process, I couldn't hear right, I couldn't take information in. It took a period of weeks and months. Um, and then over time, there's a settling. Yeah, yeah.
And this word says it right there, from Dan
It
Cochran's mouth
does. It
to
does.
God's ears. That's your daily dose for today.